What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here, back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about Dougie Hamilton from the Carolina Hurricanes and a rumor that was started, or at least this is where I think it's been started, at Saturday's headlines last night on the January 5th edition. Elliotte Friedman brought up the fact the Carolina Hurricanes might be entering the trade market. Now, we've heard about this for a long time from the Nylander stuff, whatever. We're going to get into all of that. I'm going to be looking at everything. There's already some people that are probably frustrated at the title. Hurricanes fans, maybe Leafs fans. Guys, hear me out. I've got a lot of explaining to do in this video, so please, before commenting, please watch the whole video because I think you guys will understand where I'm coming from. Now, I'm not saying that this is something that's going to happen. Oh, it's a guarantee Hamilton's going to get traded. We're just going to look at everything here and see if there might be any truth to this or traction, because you can at least put things together and see if it makes sense talking back and forth. So by all means, this doesn't have to just be a Toronto Maple Leafs trade proposal thing. If you've got a favorite team or a team that you think makes sense, put it in the description or in the comments down below. People can talk about it. We can all be civil and just have trade discussion. And it's just for fun because this is just a discussion video. So before I get any farther, I want to basically read from Spector's Hockey because he puts it all together, because I can't play the clip of what Elliotte Friedman said on Saturday's headlines. So, Elliotte Friedman reports he's curious about Carolina Hurricanes defenseman Dougie Hamilton. They have 4 right-shot defensemen. They've been asked about Hamilton. So apparently teams have come forth and asked about Hamilton. If you're willing to come back to them with a score, I think that they would consider doing it. So you have to give them a really good offer, which we'll get to, and they'll consider it. Of course, if no team is just going to ignore a really good offer. So basically what that means is no, Hamilton isn't on the trade block, guaranteed. But teams have been going towards Carolina because they do have a lot of defensemen. They have young guys that are going to be coming up. We've heard Falk being in the trade rumors. And this is the reason why I'm bringing up the Toronto Maple Leafs in this, sort of situation. Now, first of all, we all know Dougie Hamilton's a very good defenseman, which would mean that Carolina would be getting back quite a lot. And it could be detrimental to a team's building or rebuilding, whatever, if you're trying to bring in a piece. The Toronto Maple Leafs are at a point where fans are frustrated. I'm sure the management is frustrated. Coaches, maybe Babcock's frustrated. We'll never really know until they actually say something. But we have heard the fans talk about, oh, the Leafs need a defenseman. Now, this isn't me saying, oh, the fans are frustrated, trade for a defenseman. But we all think it's time that they at least bring in a piece. And Hamilton seems to be like a home run, if you ask me. Now, let me just bring up his contract situation. His contract goes through to the 2020-21 season, where his cap hit, his average annual value, is $5.7 million. So the Leafs are going to be losing Gardner. They're probably not going to re-sign him, especially if they acquire a defenseman like Hamilton who brings on a heavy cap hit. We're going to be talking about who they're going to move, which probably would help their cap situation a little bit, but you're probably going to lose a guy like Zaitsev. You probably want to remove that cap hit by trading him and giving a pick or a prospect or whatever you have to put together to remove him from your cap situation, which is unfortunate because I think that he has more to give, but just not with the Toronto Maple Leafs. Then you have to wiggle around some other numbers because you have to sign guys like Matthews. You have to sign guys like Marner, Janssen, Kapanen. But hear me out. Kapanen probably would be the guy that would go back in a deal like this. And I already can hear Leaf fans freaking out. Again, please let me reiterate this. Do I want the Leafs to get rid of Kapanen? Hell no. I love Kapanen. But if you have to bring in a solid piece, guys, you have to give up value. You don't get value by giving up a crappy prospect, a second-round pick, and some other toss-in. That doesn't work. We can't fleece teams in the NHL. There's GMs that are smart. There's probably some that are very smart. There's maybe not very smart ones. But they all know that a trade like that, crappy, picks and prospects or whatever, for a proven defenseman is not going to work. So you're obviously going to have to give up value. And again, this is not me saying the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to make this deal. Hurricanes fans, this does not mean Hamilton is going to be traded. This is just a discussion video. I have to say this so often because I upload and then 2 minutes into a 20-minute video, somebody already has the whole video mapped out. Please listen to everything I have to say because I already know this isn't going to work. This doesn't make sense. Guys, it's a discussion. It's a discussion. So let me just tell you why this makes sense. Nylander was in the discussions to go to Carolina. We heard all these rumors about, oh, maybe they get Falk, maybe they get Pesce, maybe they try to make a swap for a defenseman, maybe they toss in another forward and the Leafs get 2 defensemen back. The Leafs in Carolina have apparently been talking for a very long time. We heard it from Elliot Friedman that there might have been some discussion there. We heard it from TSN from multiple sources. I believe it was Pierre LeBrun that said that the Leafs were still talking to Carolina, and it was regarding Kapanen because, maybe they were asking for him in return for a defenseman. We don't know. It would only make sense if the Leafs and Hurricanes have all this dialogue that they've been discussing minor trades or maybe major trades to this point. And again, I have to keep saying it, and it's so annoying, but this is just a suggestion that maybe it's time the Leafs move on from one of their forwards to grab a defenseman. Kapanen is going to give the Leafs cap hell. He's going to be looking for way more money now that he's basically taken a step up. Now, people are going to be commenting, well, just trade Nylander. We've seen it the last couple of games, guys. Nylander seems to be back to his game. He's getting scoring chances. He has scored a goal. Him and Matthews look very good together again. Johnsson, Matthews, Nylander looks like a very solid line. I don't know if they'd consider moving Johnsson. Again, I have no idea. He could be a guy that could be considered. But you have to keep in mind here, the Leafs have to try to keep Matthews and Marner happy by giving them a solid amount of money because we both know that they're going to get paid. Gardner, you kind of wish that you could hold on to a guy like that and play him less minutes because he still has offensive stuff to give, but he's basically gone. You can't pay him. You still have to pay guys like Johnsson because he's going to be a restricted free agent. Kapanen is a guy that's going to demand a lot of money, and it might scare the Leafs a little bit to think, okay, maybe now it's time we got to move on from a guy that can, give us value to get value. And that's what you're getting from Hamilton. I mean, this year, when I'm recording this, he has 13 points. He's a minus 13, but that would obviously get better if he was, on the Leafs with a guy like Morgan Rielly or something like that. I know Carolina has a solid D-core, but of course, this is his first season moving on from Calgary. There could be some adjustment issues there. He's put up 44 points last year, 50 the year before. He's only 25. He can still get better. We've seen he's a big body, right-handed shot. His cap hit is good. The Leafs may need to jump at this opportunity. Next year, the Leafs' defensive core is going to be much different. The Leafs considered bringing up Liljegren at some point this year to try to see if he was going to be like Dermott and stick around. But of course, the high ankle sprain kept Timothy Liljegren out of the Leafs lineup. He will most likely be a piece the Leafs need next year. So let's just say this happens, okay? You trade Kapanen, you're probably trading a high pick, probably a first-round pick, and maybe a prospect. You're probably going to have to give up quite a bit to get Hamilton because he has term, right-handed shot, offensive, big body. You're going to be giving up quite a bit. But then you have next year or going into the playoffs this year, you have a guy like Rielly. You have a guy like Hamilton on that first pairing. You have Zaitsev, you have Gardner, and Dermott and whoever else, Ozhiganov, whatever. You can toss anybody in there. I know I'm going to be forgetting a name. Hainsey, obviously, even though a lot of people don't like him. And you're probably also going to have to give up some cap going the other way, which means you're going to be losing out on a depth piece. So is Connor Brown a guy that the Leafs have to give in a deal like that because they have to shed a couple more dollars? Because the Leafs do have just under $6 million in cap space for this season. Obviously, they'd be able to fit Hamilton better next season because you're going to be removing more guys from the cap. And, there's possibility of Marlowe stuff. We've heard about that. I don't think it's going to happen. But again, this is just a discussion because I think it only makes sense for the Leafs and Hurricanes to make a trade for a defenseman. They've been talking. We've been hearing that they've been talking. This isn't coming from some Mickey Mouse sources. We're hearing it from Friedman. We've heard it from McKenzie. We've heard it from LeBrun. We've heard it from Dreger. We've heard it from everybody that the Hurricanes and Leafs have been talking because of Nylander, because of Kapanen, because of Pesce, because of Hamilton maybe. We've heard it because of Falk. There have been discussions. And if you want to see the Leafs get better, if you're a Leaf fan listening to this video and not understanding why you would have to give up a guy like Kapanen, you don't get value by giving up crap. You have to give value for value. I love Kapanen. I'd much rather the Leafs keep him. But if you're getting a guy like Hamilton, I would probably quickly forget about a deal like this and be like, okay, Hamilton's on this blue line to stay for years to come. The Leafs need to win. If you want to win, you need a good defensive core going into the playoffs. You're going to have to make upgrades there. We've heard Dubas talk about wanting to make an upgrade if the Leafs defensive core doesn't get better. It hasn't gotten better so far. There's still a little bit of time left, but this only makes sense to me. So if you guys disagree, I guess let me know. Let's be civil. I know that this may not be something you want to hear if you're a Hurricanes fan or if you're a Leafs fan that doesn't want to, get Hamilton or whatever, but again, just a suggestion, just a fun video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. Join the squad. Let's get to 4,000 subscribers. I'm just under 4,000. Thank you guys so much for all the support lately. I'll see you guys in the next video or stream. Peace.